Hello everyone, I am Daniel Vetter. I am the inventor of Clubball, and today I'm going to teach everyone how to play a game and the general rules of the game and just how to start a game for yourself. So Clubball is a game of strategy and skill. Just like a lot of sports, the whole idea is to get as many goals as possible and score more than your opponent. Uh, every player gets a club, something about the size of a baseball bat, and you hit around a ball, something about the size of a dodgeball or soccer ball. You hit that around, try to score a goal. Simple as. Now, this is the ground of a club ball game. That's what the field is called. It's a ground. Inside the ground, there are a lot of different areas. There's the play circle. That's where the circlemen play the game. Those are your general players. They are the ones who are gonna try to score. Then there's the foul circle. No players are allowed inside the foul circle, but it's small enough so that if the ball lands in that area, any player could be able to reach it and it'd be fine. Anybody who plays outside of the play circle are called outfielders, and there's one on each team. So if the ball leaves the play circle, the outfielder goes and gets it, brings it back to the play circle. So the outfielder is only supposed to play in the protective zones. So this big square right around the circle, right around the play circle, that's the protective zones. The outfielder plays in either of those areas. He can move back and forth at will. But if he wants to go cross this way or this way, you gotta go fast. You can only be in the scoring lane for a couple seconds at a time, 5 seconds to be exact. And it's basically just so that way, the player doesn't just sit in the middle of the scoring lane and block all the shots. And there are also defensive zones. Defensive zones are basically, the idea is if the ball leaves altogether and an outfielder has to go get it, they can go grab the ball and it's fine. So, teams are made up of 10 players. There's 5 people on the field at any given time for a team, and 5 players in reserve for each of the players on the field. Both the active and reserve groups include 4 circlemen, 1, 2, 3, 4, and an outfielder. One of the 10 players is also designated as the team captain. They have some special rules, not too many more, but just to lead the team in the right direction. That's the whole idea. And any active player may be substituted for their reserve, but only once per game. So you may have this player, and the outfielder all substituted for their reserve player, but then you can't switch these players out again. But these two still could be pulled away if they feel like they need to be. Just so that way, you're not switching back and forth a whole lot, and you gotta strategize when's the right time to put your reserve in. So in the circlemen, there are 3 types. There's the front. He's going to be playing towards. They're going to be playing more towards the goal that you're trying to score at. There are the wings. They play on either side of the circle. And then you have the back, which plays more towards the defensive area that you're trying to not get a goal scored on. They're not restricted to these certain areas. They just can't leave the play circle. But those are just the general idea of where they would be playing. So whoever the team captain is, at the beginning of a game, they meet up with the opposing team's captain, and they do rock, paper, scissors. It's just supposed to be a fun little thing. Football has a coin toss. This is just rock, paper, scissors. And whoever wins gets starting possession. There is a referee who should be overseeing the game. They make sure that what's played by a player is what they intend to play, what they make the final judgment on what the hand position is, just to make sure nobody's trying to screw up and trick somebody somehow, and just so that way it's a nice fair game of rock, paper, scissors. Whoever wins, this is called the hand match. Just at the beginning of the game, you play the hand match to determine possession. Whoever wins, the winning team gets possession, and the ball is placed on one of their starting dots. So if you're playing on this side and you're trying to score over here, you get to place the ball either here or here, and that probably depends on what hand your circleman is, or your outfielder is, sorry. If he'd prefer, depending on what hand he is, to hit it on either one of these balls, or on one of these starting dots, he just says, hey, I want it over here, and then he can play it from there. So then the outfielder hits the ball off the starting dot into the play circle, and that starts the game. Only circlemen may score a goal, so you can't have your outfielder run over here with the ball and then score a goal. That's against the rules. Can't do that. Outfielders can save shots, but there's very specific situations. It has to be done outside of the scoring lane or within the saving zone. So, if a ball is hit from here towards the goal, and the outfielder is able to run back, staying outside of the scoring lane, if the outfielder is able to run back into the saving zone, which is right here in front of the goal, and stop the ball from going past the goalposts, then they've saved it. That's it. No goal. That also, they can also save the ball if, say, a player hits the ball from right here and tries to score that way. They could jump in and try to block the ball before it even gets past them. But they can't stand in the scoring lane and try to stop a ball that way. It'd be too easy to stop it that way. So, there are certain restrictions associated with saving a goal, but if you're able to stop it in the saving zone, or if you're able to stop it while avoiding being inside the scoring lane, then you're good. And the outgrounds, that's just any part of the field that isn't within the foul circle or the play circle. That's just everything else. So, where was I? Outfielders can use their hands. Yeah, they can knock the ball down, but they can't play it with their hands. They have to play with their club. Players cannot play the ball with their clubs, so the circlemen cannot, or any player cannot use their clubs to hit the ball if it's above their waistline. You don't want to hit a player with your club on the head. That'd be terrible. So you have to keep your club below your waistline if you're going to play the ball. Circlemen, if the ball does pop up, you can knock the ball down, but it can't go out of the play circle as a result of a headbutt. That's a delay of game, and there are certain penalties that if you have more questions about this, I can answer in the comments. But that's in the general rule book, which I can also post. I do have a full rule book that is complete with everything you need to know about how to play the game. This is just an overview of how you play the game. So, circlemen can't knock the ball out of the play circle as a result of a headbutt. That'd be delay of game, and there would be a penalty associated with that. The circlemen may pass the ball to their outfielder, but you can't do that multiple times in a row. So if you've got the ball and you pass it to your outfielder, they can pass it back to you, but if you try to pass it back to them, delay of game. You can't do that multiple times in a row. You got to actually play the ball. So if the ball enters the defensive zone, the outfielder whose side the ball enters is always allowed to retrieve it. So if this is your defensive zone and the ball goes out here, you can always go and grab it. Fine. If your own player knocks it into the defensive zone, then the other team's outfielder could run and go and grab it. And the whole point of that is basically so that way your player isn't purposefully trying to knock the ball out of play, because then that'd kill up time and that wouldn't be fun. That's just one of the rules. You gotta keep the ball in motion, can't stop it just to kill time and win the game that way. So fouls. There are some fouls that you can't do. Hitting a player with your club, that's clubbing, can't do it. Hitting a player with your fist, that's punching, can't do it. Hitting a player with your hips or shoulders, that's checking, can't do it. There's no checking in club ball. You can't kick a player, you can't throw your club around, and you can't grab players and hold them. Those are all fouls, and if somebody commits a foul and the refs call it, then there's a couple possible depending on what the foul is, there's a couple possible outcomes. They could just say, hey, you got to give up possession, give it to the other team, let them set up and make a play. Or there could be a free shot. So all of these are examples of fouls that would lead to free shots. Now, a free shot, basically, you would put the ball on top of a tee on the edge of the play circle. So say blue team commits a foul, red team gets a shot here. You put the ball on a tee, and a player goes up with their club and tries to hit the ball into the goal. And if they score a goal, then that's a goal. That's a point. That goes to their total score. And so that's why you don't want to commit fouls. You give the other team opportunities to win the game, and that's what you're trying to avoid. So, now, games in general. Games of club ball last for 10 minutes each. That's not a very long time, actually, but there's a couple reasons for this. One, it keeps games fast-paced. You know, you've only got 10 minutes, get as many points as you can. Then, that being said, you do play 5 games in a row. And when you play 5 games in a row, that is a meetup. It's a series of 5 games. Whoever has the higher score at the end of a game wins that game. Whoever wins at least 3 games wins the whole meetup. Now, that would seem like, you know, after 3 games, if somebody's won all 3, then, well, what's the point of playing the other 2 games? Well, if all 5 games are played, if a team wins all 5 games, it's considered a star meetup, but you don't play games to win the meetup and then you've won the meetup. You play games to win the game. And if you win a game, then your team gets a point for the season. That helps their ranking. So you want to win as many games as possible. So even if you lose 3 games in a row, and the first 3 games, you can still win those other 2 games and get 2 points for your season total, and that helps your team. It still helps your team even if you didn't win the quote-unquote win the meetup. But if your team is able to win all 5 games of a meetup, that is a star meetup. That goes into something else I'll get to later. Now, let's say the game is tied after 10 minutes. That instantly causes the game to move into sudden death overtime. The next team to score after 10 minutes is over and the game is tied, next team to score wins. Now, if somebody commits a foul and a team gets a free shot and they score through a free shot, game over. That's it. That was their opportunity, and that's why you don't commit fouls. That's something you don't want to do. Now, if neither team scores after overtime, then you go to a free shot shootout. So you get 5 opportunities to score a goal using the free shot format. So you have a tee placed on the edge of the play circle, a player goes up, hits the ball, and hopefully they score. Then it's the other team's turn. They go up to the play circle, hits the ball on the tee. Let's say they don't score. That keeps going on for 5 rounds, and whoever has more points, whoever has more goals in these 5 rounds than the other team, wins the game. And if it's still tied, let's say both teams score 3 goals after 5 rounds, then the shootout just continues 1 round at a time until one team scores and the other team doesn't. Then it's game. Whoever scored wins the game. Now, if you are playing in a league and you've got a season going, teams earn 1 point for every game they win. Rankings are determined by whoever has the most points, and the top 8 ranked teams go on to play in the postseason championship tournament. You win the tournament, you win the championship, you're the best team in the league. That's classic sports right there. So, if there are 2 teams who are tied in the rankings, and you got to figure out which one is a better team, the very first tiebreaker is, let's see where I have it, right here, star meetups. This is what I was saying. So if you have more star meetups, if you have the same amount of wins, the same amount of points as another team, but you have more star meetups, you won more 5 games together than the other team, then that means you've beaten them for the ranking. You have earned the next spot up, and you've got a better spot in the playoffs than they do, if they make it to. If it's possible that you're going for that 8th spot and they don't make it because you had a better record. Alright, so this is just additional information if you want to start a game yourself. This is the general outline of the ground. The idea is that a ground is going to be about 75 feet long and 50 feet wide. 75 feet long, 50 feet wide. The goalposts are 5 feet away from the center, 10 feet away from each other, right there in the center, 10 feet away. So this, from here to here, is 10 feet, both sides. The scoring lane extends from the posts, to the foul circle. The play circle should be about 40 feet in diameter. And the foul circle is an additional 5 feet in diameter. So it would be about 2.5 feet here, 2.5 feet here, 2.5 feet here, 2.5 feet there. It's an additional 5 feet from the diameter of the play circle. So if the play circle is 40 feet in diameter, the foul circle is 45 feet in diameter. And the foul circle cannot be more than 5 feet away from, or less than 5 feet away from the protective zone edges, the long side of the field here and here. I might have said that wrong, actually. I think it'd be 2.5 on either side, but you'd be able to figure that out. Maybe I missed something here. Let's see. Oh, yes, so here are the lines. These lines here and here. That separates the defensive zone from the protective zone. And here's the defensive zone again. So the halfway line, the center line right here, you can see it on either side of the foul circle. Halfway between that line and the edge of the field, that's the line that denotes the defensive zone and the protective zone. Starting dots are right in the center. I know that's a little off. Apologies, but they're supposed to be right in the center of the defensive zone quarters, here, 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 and here. And I think I need to put this at 2.5 actually. Ooh. Yes, so there has to be an additional. So if this is 50 feet right here, 50 feet from this side to this side, then it's 40 feet from here to here, 45 feet from here to here, and then additional 50 feet, additional 5, so 50 feet here to here. So that'd be 2.5 feet and 2.5 feet there. Apparently I'm bad at math. Referees, and this is the very last thing, referees, they keep time, ensure time stops when appropriate during after goals, when calling fouls. There's got to be a referee for every game. There are more information for referees in the rule book. They got to know the rules. So, and that's pretty much it. That's everything. So I hope this inspires you to start a game of your own, get some friends together, and try out this new sport. Thank you so much. And if you've got any questions, any things that you didn't quite understand, anything you want to know more about, just leave a comment, and I will get to you as soon as possible. And hopefully you can start playing whenever you feel like it. Thank you very much.